Introducing the Head Speed Pro Legend. Endorsed by Novak Djokovic, this model features new technology and a tried and true setup. The low 60 stiffness rating combined with the 100 square inch head paired with an 18-20 string pattern offers loads of control and predictability, while the new HY bore material allows the racket to feel more stable at impact. An obvious choice for experienced players looking to dictate points with confidence.
When it came to power versus control with this new Speed Pro Legend, I thought it was a really unique blend. For a 100 square inch racket, I would say this is definitely on the low powered side, but it's a nice blend in the fact that the 18-20 pattern and the low stiffness rating definitely gives you the control, but the 100 head size gives you a nice forgiveness, and I thought it actually gave me easy depth on my shots. I hit it a lot recently compared to the new Racquet Tour, which is also an 18-20, and this one definitely felt more forgiving. I felt like I was getting easier depth on my shots, but I still felt like no matter where I was on the court from the baseline, I could swing freely and I felt in command of the ball.
So in terms of power and control, it definitely is a bit more towards the control side, and I like that. I feel like a lot of rackets these days are going towards a bit more power, and I like that head stayed true to what the speed is known for. The bigger head size, a lot of people I feel like, at least I thought was going to give me a little bit more power, but that's not the case. It is a bit more forgiving, and I really like that. The control on this frame is good enough for me to be able to put it wherever I want, but I was still able to finish it off whenever I wanted to, like the points, when I wanted to close off the point, I was still able to, which I really like.
When it comes to the power level of this racket, I really think your perception is where you're coming from, and being a prestige user previously and also enjoying the gravity rackets, I thought this one offers just the right amount of pop. It offers more pop than both of those racket lines. And so it just helps me out on serves, helps me out when I'm defending, just get a little bit more depth and pace on the ball. And so for me, the power level is spot on. And then when you've got those 18 mains, it really helps me control the ball. I'm not the biggest spin hitter, so it helps my flatter backhand dip and stay inside the line, which I really like. And I love the level of control on volleys. It's super crisp and clean. And just line up the string bed where I want the ball to go, and it goes right there.
I've been playing a lot with that 16x20 string pattern, so transitioning into an 18-20, I definitely noticed a lower launch angle, but for me, I just leaned into it and really found that I could flirt with the top of the net, hit even flatter than normal, and have success. Because of that built-in control, I really could swing out and hit big shots. However, on a serve again is where I was hoping for a little bit more access to spin, but again, adjusting the string setup allowed me to still find my shots, and I never felt like I couldn't hit a high loopy ball if I needed to. I just needed to adjust my mechanics to get that extra dip and dive on the ball.
When it came to the spin potential of this racket, I usually play a 16x19 in my racket of choice, but I would say it took me a little bit of an adjustment to get used to the 18-20, slightly lower launch angle, but once I adapted and was just targeting my shots a little higher over the net, I felt like spin was pretty good for a 100 square inch 18-20 pattern. I felt like I could hit my ground strokes and get them to dip. On serve, I felt like the spin was good. I wasn't quite getting as much jump on like my kick serve and maybe my slice compared to a 16-19, but overall I felt like it's a pretty forgiving 18x20 string bed.
So I already hit flat, and then getting the 18-20 on my hands, it even decreased my net clearance even more. So to get that extra spin, I really had to whip the racket. I wasn't getting any natural spin from the easy spin from the racket itself, but because it was maneuverable enough to really get that racket head speed going, I was still able to get that net clearance. I was still able to get the ball to dive in.
When it came to feel, I would say that's probably one of my favorite things with this update, especially compared to the previous 2024 Speed Pro. That one felt a little muted, and with that like gummy kind of velvety finish to the paint, it just felt a little dampened. This one much more crisp. Like Michelle talked about, it's got a low RA, but it has a nice firm and stable feel. Nothing jarring, still very comfortable, still very forgiving, but just much more predictable, much more point and shoot, and it really just hit the mark for me when it came to feel.
I've been a big fan of the speed line of rackets, and when it comes to feel, I've always felt very connected to the ball with it. I feel like I lost a little bit of that with the Exotic 2.0 version of this racket, which came before this one. This one gets back to the feel of that Graphene 360 Plus, which I really enjoyed the response of that racket. Feel super connected to my shots again. It's not quite as dampened and I would say soft feeling as the Exotic 2.0, a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner. I love the sound of the racket too, so I think that combination of a nice crisp, clean feel plus the sound at contact gets me really connected to my shots. I have a good idea of I'm going to find that target and hopefully keep all my shots inside the lines.
Maneuverability and stability have become really big factors in deciding if I like or gel with a racket, and this one was amazing because it was so stable even on off-center hits, yet I still felt like I could swing fast through the ball and was getting enough plow through. So I thought the stability was perfect for this racket. Anytime my racket met the ball, I was rewarded with a stable feel.
So I found the previous versions of the Speed Pro and the Speed Legend a little bit more hefty, a little bit more heavy, and this one is a lot more maneuverable and I really liked it. I was able to put the ball wherever I wanted, especially on serves. I wasn't getting the most aces or free points or anything like that, but I'm able to hit my spots, and because of that I'm able to dictate the point a bit more so. The stability of the frame is showcased in two aspects of my game the most, and I really liked it. It was at the volleys, when I'm hitting against some of the bigger hitters like Michelle, coming straight at me, the ball, I'm still able to just put the racket out there and put it in place, and it does the job for me. And on return of serves, again, those same point, I have a one-hand backhand, so whenever I have a big serve on my backhand, I can just put the racket out there and it does the job for me, just block it back, gets it deep, and because of the 18-20, it stays in. So I really like the stability and the maneuverability of this frame. Probably one of the aspects of the frame that I liked the most.
I found this racket to come through a little bit easier than the predecessor, just a little bit more whip on it, so it gives me a bit more shape on my shots. I found like I could position the racket very easily, but there's still plenty of stability. When I'm up at net looking to hit a touch volley, I can hold a very loose grip on the racket to maximize feel, and then it was staying nice and stable in my hand, wasn't twisting unduly, and also on returns too. Enjoyed the solid response of this one, so I think when it comes to that blend of maneuverability and stability, it's exactly what I'm looking for in a racket.
Overall, I really liked this frame. It was a very fun playtest. I didn't think I would like an 100 square inch head size frame that much, but with the 18-20 string pattern, the bit more stability and maneuverability, and then just the control of it, I really liked it.
I love the look of this racket. So overall, I think visually, it just feels right in my hand, looks right in my hand. I enjoy the look of the glossy paint. I enjoy the feel of that at contact too. I really feel like the racket has crispened up. The RA is still low down and silky smooth, so there's tons of comfort in this racket. I really enjoy what Head have done with this version of the Speed. And yeah, from tip to grip, it's hitting it for me.
Overall, the Head Speed Pro Legend is a big hitter's dream. I love the 100 square inches, the 18x20 string pattern, super stable and still maneuverable and loaded with plow through. The issues that I did have with this racket could be easily fixed with a change of string and tension. So for me, this is an amazing playtest.
Overall, I was really impressed with this update of the Speed Pro Legend. I really liked the updated feel. Appearance-wise, I think it's a really nice looking racket. I like the glossy finish, looks really sharp. And typically I don't play with a 100 square inch, but I still felt like it was precise. It felt just as control-oriented as most 98 square inch rackets. And I really like the specs. I would just add some handle weight, maybe just a little bit at 3 and 9, and I really could just feel confident with this frame.
Thanks for watching this version of the racket review. For more information on this Head racket or anything tennis related, be sure to go to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.